Welcome to Illusion Filmworks. My name is Zach.
Oh, I'm Kennon. I was trying to cheat off his board.
Somebody is not ready.
No, I'm ready. I was just wondering what you had already wrote down. I'm Kennon.
And I'm Mark.
And this is I've Seen That Movie Too.
Wait,
This week, we are talking about the
think about
concept
that. That
of
makes
sex friends. Friends with benefits, fuck buddies. Oh, I can't say that. You have to
We'll
beat
bleep
me
it out, yeah.
Beat me out on that, Mark.
All right, I got you. I got
We'll
your back.
fix it in
Keeps coming.
post.
These markers suck.
And so this week, we have two movies that feature the exact same thematic concept.
Came out around the same
and
time,
they came out
too.
the exact same year. One came out earlier in the year, one came out afterwards. We are talking about
Done.
Friends with Benefits versus No Strings Attached. One,
I should have kept the caps.
2, 3.
Well, let's see.
I think we all agreed on this one.
No,
He's
got no strings
sorry.
attached.
I just marked you.
No, it's cool.
Okay.
It's cool. It
You
happens.
should have kept the tab.
So what
Yeah.
made you like that movie?
Well, let me just start off by saying I wasn't
Can't
really
erase
enthralled with either of these two movies. Let's be straight up right here. So this
Well,
was
I think
kind
that
of
was true for all three of us.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
We were
yeah.
just talking about it earlier.
yeah.
you know.
This was kind of a toss up for me, and I do have a couple of reasons why, as a toss up, chose this one over the other one.
Right.
So let's briefly talk about the plot, and the plots are very similar to these two
Because
movies.
it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just with Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
Yes. It basically both plots break down to I'm a guy and dating sucks. I'm a
Right.
girl
Yeah.
and dating sucks. You
Yeah.
want to just have sex? Yeah, but let's promise not to get involved with each other.
Well, that was an interesting thing about the story, though, is that in Friends with Benefits, it's the guy that suggests it.
Yeah.
But then in No Strings Attached, it's the girl.
Yes,
And-
which is interesting because No Strings Attached was written by a woman.
Exactly,
and
that's
Right,
what we
Friends
found
with
out.
Benefits
Found out.
was written by a man.
Well, it was written by three guys, I believe.
Lots of guys.
yeah.
Still all Y chromosome capable.
But I mean, as far as for the story goes, for me, like there isn't really much to talk about story wise.
There is one
Whoa,
thing-
hang on. Before I forget it, there is one thing I do want to mention with Friends with Benefits. It felt like halfway through the movie we reached a natural ending,
Right.
and then they had to
Yeah.
find something else
To kind of
Yeah.
talk
to,
about.
to
that's
get
a
them
very
through
good
the
point.
second
That
half
kind
of
of
the
felt a
movie.
little bit when I was watching No Strings Attached a little bit.
I think the
too.
story felt completely flat in No
Yeah.
Strings Attached.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting story-wise is that both the main male characters have a heart-to-heart with their dads about
That's
true.
kind
the
of strange.
situations
Yeah.
about, like, because in No Strings Attached, his dad's in the hospital, and they have this heart-to-heart about, she's really great for you. And then in No Strings Attached, Justin Timberlake has his heart-to-heart with his dad, where his dad talks about his time in the Navy.
Yeah.
And he was like, there's this really great girl, and I wanted to talk to her, but I didn't, and I always regretted it, sort of thing.
Well, I think
so
that's
it's
kinda-
weird that they both
Oh,
had
yeah.
this heart-to-heart moment where,
And it-
like, the dad is like, go for it, son.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Don't
it
give
also
up on love.
Yeah.
like Mark and I totally thought that in Friends with Benefits when he was saying about back in the Navy or whatever he met that girl, we totally thought it was going to be Mila Kunis' mom.
Definitely
like
thought
in
it.
the movie.
Definitely thought it. We
We
guessed
felt like
wrong,
that's
though.
where it was going,
We
and
guessed
they just
wrong.
kind of like because the woman kept talking about like how her father was great and she was the best one and he got away.
Right.
And I don't. Does she even? No, she doesn't know. That's the point. She doesn't know who her father is.
Right,
And
right,
that point is
right.
never resolved. It's brought up, and then that's it. It's never resolved.
There is some creepy fan fiction to be written about this.
Don't
out
give
here.
them ideas.
They have the ideas now. Go forward and write to your heart's content.
One thing I didn't really I didn't really care for about No Strings Attached is like the whole dad relationship, like with his son.
It's kind
like
of
how,
shoehorned in.
Yeah,
A little bit.
he's messing
Although I
with
did
his
kind of like
girlfriend
that reveal for
Oh,
the first
yeah.
time,
Oh,
where it
yeah.
was like
Yeah.
you're having sex with my
my
ex-girlfriend.
ex-girlfriend. But then they wanted to like have a baby or something like that. I was just like, it just got too
Well,
ridiculous.
she was
for
a
me.
crazy sort of character. They both
Yeah.
got ridiculous for me in certain points.
And like I felt like that was supposed to be played off as comedy, kind of, because
Yeah.
at the end, like she didn't want to be with him because he was old. He was in the hospital
Right.
because why was he even in the hospital?
He overdosed. They were doing like a combination of like cough syrup and other stuff, something
so he
like that.
OD'd.
So he OD'd on
because
something.
he's a movie star.
Yeah.
As
They
you
kind of
do.
stuck close to the what's the word I'm looking for?
I want to help you out, but I don't
I know I can see it. I can see you want to help me
wanna
out.
help you out. I don't know.
Stereotypes. They stuck close to the stereotypes. You really had no clue where I was
I had
going with
no
that, did you?
idea. I'm really sorry.
Parent, guardian.
But no, like they kind of both kept close to stereotypes of men and women and movie stars and stuff like that.
That is one of, again, looking at the critics' responses to these movies, that is one of the things that No Strings Attached got a little bit more than Friends with Benefits. We'll play everybody's favorite game of Guess How They Were Rated. Mark, on a scale of
like this game.
On a scale of 1 to 100,
I always lose. You're right.
You're the only one that plays. So
how much do you think No Strings Attached is rated on Rotten Tomatoes as of this recording?
I would give it a 60%.
49%.
That's not too
Okay,
far.
all right.
Not too bad.
How do you think Friends with Benefits is rated?
I would give it.
Go with the 60.
I'll go with the.
I'll
give you.
I was about to say, you know you're
60,
going to go with
60,
it.
60. Yeah, I might as well just go with it. Get 60.
71%.
I knew it, and I was gonna say 70.
Don't even act like it. Don't even.
This is a lot more
Whatever, I was gonna
close.
say 70.
This is a lot more close than one of our previous episodes when we did Jumanji and the Third,
Yeah.
which were a lot different. Like Roger Ebert gave No Strings Attached 2.5 stars, and he gave Friends with Benefits 3 stars.
I can see that.
They
That
were
makes
both
sense.
Very similar to each other.
Well, can I just interject one thing really quick?
Sure.
One interesting thing I found out was that like No Strings Attached, kind of people liked it. It was okay, but Friends with Benefits actually was nominated for a couple awards. It was nominated for 2 People's Choice Awards for favorite comedy and favorite comedic actress. So it was not. I think it actually won those. Not only was it
I don't
nominated,
think it did.
won it.
I remember seeing those statistics while I was looking up,
Yeah.
but I knew it was nominated, but I do not think that it won either of those awards.
Well, it was also nominated for 2 Teen Choice Awards for both the actor and the actress, Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
That's
a Teen Choice Award.
I like legitimately. How do you feel about that?
I like the acting in Friends with Benefits more because they really connected very well. They had very good chemistry together.
Yeah, they
versus
did.
Considering that
the chemistry
that was
fell
the
flat.
movie where they met up and hooked up and became a couple in real life.
No. You're thinking of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, aren't you? Did they
Justin
date for a while?
Timberlake and Mila Kunis dated for a long time. They might still
Well,
even
I mean,
be
it worked to
together.
their benefit. And no, Mila Kunis is married to Ashton Kutcher, and they just had a kid.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
I saw it in like the paper
Yeah.
the other day or something like that.
You
Moving on.
You took the guy from one Friends
Yeah.
with Sex Friends movie and the girl from the
Yeah.
other.
Well, in her defense,
put
though, they
them
did do the
together.
70s show.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where
So
it's
it
not like
came
it's out of
from.
nowhere.
Yeah,
You know what I
so-
mean?
That's true, but it's one of those weird things.
And
in
they
life.
dated in the 70s. Well, I don't know if they dated Offset, but like in the movie they were a couple. Or not in the
In
movie.
the show,
in the show they were a couple.
They were a
together
couple for like a
while,
few seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great show, by the way. I love that 70s
Oh
show.
yeah, it's a great show.
I would
Until,
say
like, Randy
that
comes on the show and becomes
I
horrible.
am not
Yeah.
a biggest
Ridiculous.
fan of Justin Timberlake,
I'm not gonna blame
especially
you.
his acting. So
Well, he was doing
that
the most, yeah.
movie, I think one of the reasons why I sort of fell a little bit more towards No Strings Attached versus Friends with Benefits is I'm just not a Justin Timberlake fan. Like Mila Kunis has that comedic background. She's got that energy to it.
Right.
Justin seemed like he tried to do his best to keep up, but he was clearly out of his league.
Yeah,
He just-
yeah.
They really could have benefited from a more
Experienced
actor with a comedic background to really play off.
I think they
Mila Kunis
honestly,
better
my opinion,
than
I
what
think
we
they just
had.
brought him in to kind of like
It's
the
star
name.
appeal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's star
oh,
appeal.
come see Justin
We'll get,
Timberlake.
like,
in this
Well,
movie.
I think that's both of them though, because like I think at the time, well, I could be completely wrong, but Mila Kunis was becoming a big star.
Yeah,
that's true.
At that
That's
point,
So it really seems like that Friends with Benefits was just created to rival No Strings Attached because No Strings Attached
Essentially.
seemed like it was in production or it was a project first.
Right.
Then they were like, oh, this is something that we could easily do,
Yeah.
and they wrote Friends with Benefits and they beat them to the punch and released it first.
Yeah.
And what was interesting to note too is that the budget for both films, Friends with Benefits. Well, let me start with No Strings Attached. The budget was $25 million, but then Friends with Benefits, the budget was $35 million.
well, you got to pay those actors.
Yeah,
more.
I was actually going to say that. Like Justin Timberlake probably was
Go budget.
Yeah. But what was also interesting to note is that they roughly made close to the same amount in the box office.
Yeah.
Because No Strings Attached brought back $149.2 million. Want to take a guess how much Friends with Benefits brought back? Friends with Benefits made $149.5 million. Barely beat it. You sound disappointed.
Okay.
You sound disappointed with that.
Yeah. That's all right,
It
though.
barely beat it out, basically.
I would be disappointed too if you're like you made a whole thing just to beat the pants out of somebody else. Like it seemed like
worked.
so. Yeah, but such a petty, like such
Yeah.
it's a petty
Well, we
thing.
don't
in
know that's
general.
what happened. That's just what I said. We don't
But
know
it
that
just-
actually
It could be
happened.
just a
It
coincidence.
seems like,
But it's
I highly doubt
it's a
it.
reach though. You're reaching.
and I
Yeah.
think
Say
that's
it.
one of the reasons why.
Considering they're so about
I think
the
that's one of the
same
reasons
exact thing.
why
Yeah.
it's, at least for me, such a toss-up between the two of them. Is just like, they're essentially the same thing. I know
Yeah.
that's like
Well,
makes for a little bit of a boring.
Let me bring up another
experience,
point really
but-
quick because I was thinking about this the other day.
Okay.
First of all, No Strings Attached takes itself more seriously.
It does.
Right.
And Friends with
Certainly.
Benefits takes itself in a comedic value.
Right.
Or comedic light.
More comedic. I mean,
yeah,
Strings
more
with Benefits,
comedic,
No Strings Attached has comedic things, but it's definitely
But-
more dramatic.
But No Strings Attached doesn't like. Just disregard that movie. Actually, disregard what I just said. Friends with not the whole comedic thing, but Friends with Benefits makes fun of romantic comedies,
Right.
And it is a romantic comedy, but then at the end it tries to use the same elements from romantic
Yeah.
comedies, like kind of like trying to justify. Oh, we made fun of it, but we're still going to use it, and it just didn't work out.
I've seen
that well.
I've seen movies do like that spoof thing before and do it so much better in their
Yeah.
respective genres.
Yeah.
One thing that I will say I thought was extremely funny, not because it was supposed to be funny, but just how like stupid it was in No Strings Attached, when Natalie Portman is sort of like drunk and she doesn't want to be with Ashton Kutcher and she's like pushing him and they're out in the public. The security guard comes over and breaks him over and says,
Oh, yeah.
"You can't do this here." It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's completely okay with like domestic violence.
Right,
It's just,
right,
you
right.
can't do this right here. You got to take that home.
I actually thought that was a really good scene. That
and
was,
do
that
that.
was really good.
Yeah, I like that so
What did
much.
Ashton Kutcher say to her? Like
Oh, he said
you're
short.
miniature or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. I
Like
was
you're too,
oh my
you're too
God,
small
like-
to beat me up or something like that.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Proving her point where he's just like standing
Yeah.
there while she like pushes him over.
Yeah.
was pretty good.
I gotta admit, on camera work too, Friends with Benefits I think was a lot better.
Way better, yeah.
Because we talked about it with the opening scene.
Right.
Was great because the way it opened was that you thought they were already together with the way they were cutting between the two, and then the big reveal at the end of that little 5-minute segment or something
Yeah,
like
that
that.
they were with two different.
Yeah,
Which
one
I
was
want
in
to
LA
say,
and one was in New York.
Right, the
Yeah.
camera work was great, but also the editing in
Yeah.
that was really really phenomenal because you really thought that she was talking to Justin Timberlake
I will
in the beginning.
say,
Yeah.
Mark, that you're probably gonna hate me for this, but
Okay.
his original girlfriend in Friends with Benefits before he broke up was Emma Stone,
Yeah.
right?
Right, yeah.
That's such a downgrade to get Mila Kunis instead of Emma Stone.
I'm gonna stay out of that conversation.
I don't know. I mean, well, Emma Stone.
They're both hot.
Yeah.
They're both great. They're both great actors.
I think it's a win either way. To be quite honest.
He just went from like one 10 to another 10. That's all he did.
Right, to me,
One
in
thing
my
that I
eyes.
will say that I thought was a little interesting with No Strings Attached was that they had a little bit of a history before they started getting together. Like they knew each other. Like they went to
Yeah.
summer camp together, and then they met at the frat party, and then they met again, and then they sort of met up for that.
And you said that's
final
what you
time
liked
before.
about it?
I thought it was interesting that they
yeah.
had a little bit of history together, so that they had this setup, so it wasn't completely like, because the whole thing is that after he finds out that his dad's sleeping with his girlfriend, he gets drunk and he's like, "I'm just gonna call every single person on my phone
Just
until
so I can have
someone
sex with
has
them."
sex
Yeah.
with somebody."
Yeah.
And that's sort of like a kind of a little bit of a natural way to get those two together, because he didn't have sex with Natalie
Anybody
Portman
there,
or any
yeah.
of those others. But I thought that was sort of like a little bit of a more natural way to get them together in that situation, like in his apartment and
I
stuff
really didn't like
that.
it. It just because I felt like it took too long to get to if it's just Friends with Benefits, just
It took too long to get to the sex.
I mean if that's what you want to say, yeah.
Well,
like,
but
it's
that's another thing to point out is that Friends with Benefits, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're fine.
But Friends with Benefits focus more on the raunchiness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the sex versus No
scenes
Strings
were a
Attached
lot.
didn't really.
Well,
kinda
maybe I'm just
do
It was
that.
a
perv,
lot
I don't know.
more about the emotions. In No
Yeah,
Strings
yeah.
Attached.
Versus Friends with Benefits, it was. I mean, like it did become about the emotions.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like those initial, like, because they both movies
know.
have like a sex
changed my mind.
montage.
To No Strings Attached?
But
Both
just because there's so many
movies-
like plot holes,
Yeah.
or not plot holes, but like the writing, thinking about it, talking about it with Friends with Benefits, it's just the writing isn't as thought out as with No Strings Attached.
And they had
fair.
3 writers.
Yeah, they had 3 writers, and the ones with No Strings Attached, it was very clearly thought out. They had a point. It was like I said earlier. It just felt like halfway through the movie with Friends with Benefits, we reached a natural ending, and then they had to find something else. But with No Strings Attached, it goes on a little too long.
It does go on a little bit too long.
Yeah, but
I
at least it was
if you
all.
cut, it's an hour and 45 minutes. I think
Yeah.
if you cut like 15 minutes out of that movie, it would have been fine. Like
Yeah,
lengthwise,
definitely.
run-wise time. If you would cut some of that.
So you
filler
switching up
stuff
on
out.
me? You on
Is this the
this
first
guy's
time
side?
I
No.
get a conversion?
Is
No.
he converting you?
I'm getting
No.
a conversion.
Hold on,
No.
I need you to explain it to me. What's going on?
Well, I mean, it really, when I thought about the story, like, I love the camera work in Friends with Benefits. Again, going back to the beginning scene, the way they didn't even tell you right out that one was in Los Angeles and one was in New York. They
You kind of had to figure it out, yeah.
Yeah, but they did it a great way because in Mila Kunis' shot, you had the Empire State Building in the background.
Right.
And then in Justin
is
Timberlake's
phenomenal
shot, you had was it Empire Records? No, it wasn't Empire Records.
It was some building that you
knew
knew
it
it
was
was in LA.
And and that's how they broke it to the audience that they weren't in the same place, which was fantastic. What did you write? Zach's, right? No.
Oh my God. Okay, finish your point.
Because I'm about to blow
I
you
got
out
them
of the water.
conversion points.
No, I'm not. I'm not converted. I've decided I'm not converted.
Are you not just saying
Out
that
of
now?
spite.
No.
Out of personal
Just because I don't want Zach to be right, I'm not going to convert now.
Yeah, forget Zach. Like,
That's totally what's happening right now.
no, because I thought about it, and then I was like, the reason why I chose Friends with Benefits in the beginning, because it made me laugh. Like, there were a couple scenes where it actually did make me laugh, and it made me care for the characters.
Neither of those movies really had me chuckling.
No, but they were good. Yeah. Some of the scenes were good. I didn't really laugh or chuckle, but like I was entertained by them.
Yeah.
No strings attached. It was just like, it went on a little too long. Like when it did try to do comedy, it was really more awkward than it was funny.
Yeah.
Because like the scene where it was, what was she, the producer of the show he was working
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
And like,
they
she
were
was
about
going
to
to have
get together.
sex with her.
Right.
And like they were trying to be like that awkwardly funny, but it was just awkward. It wasn't even funny.
I don't think that scene was supposed to be awkwardly funny. I think it was just supposed to be awkward for the sake of awkwardness.
Maybe I might be remembering it wrong, but like
I just have a feeling that that's because it was after him and Natalie Portman have their big like emotional breakdown, and
Yeah,
she's
'cause
tried
she
to
saw-
call him
yeah,
a
'cause that's
couple of
towards the
times,
end,
and they just
yeah.
got off the phone and had that sort of like Natalie Portman's like, I want us to get back together, and Ashton Kutcher's like, we were never together.
And that was another thing too. He just said that out of spite.
Yeah, he did.
like,
He
it was
did.
just-
That was
but
totally. That was
in that
totally a
situation,
spite
that's
move.
literally what you would do. Like, would it not be what you would do if that was you?
Yeah.
No,
That's
That's what I would do. That's what I would do. We were never together.
No, because if I was
Mark,
pining
we got
for
a
a
cherub
girl,
over here.
You said what?
We got a cherub over here, like an
I
angel
am
from heaven.
yeah,
He's gonna play. The
No, but
straight-
no, that's my
straight
thing. Like,
man.
if I was pining over a girl, like if I really wanted one girl, I'm not, because it would be unfair to the other girl. Like, if I didn't like her, then all of a sudden this girl said, "Hey, I really like you." I'd be like, "Oh, sorry."
Well, I just think you're a nicer guy than us, though. Like, because I would clearly be petty.
I would think that Ashton Kutcher, because it was pretty clear that he wanted the relationship a lot more than Natalie Portman's character, he invested so much time in trying to get her to like him that when that rejection came, he took it so much
hard.
more personal.
Right. And I totally agree, because that's something that I've actually been through in real life. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I agree with Zach 100%, Oh,
you wanna bring up how Ludacris just randomly shows up in this movie?
Yeah. Ludacris looks so out of place in this movie. Like, he was just like randomly walk up and say like black guy stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what are you doing here, Ludacris?
No Strings Attached really was like on the stereotypes.
Right, like I wasn't feeling it. Sorry, Ludacris. Love your music, but no, I wasn't feeling it at all.
There's that part
He
in
does a lot
No
better
Strings
in the Fast and
Attached
Furious
where
movies.
like his waitress friend sort of like starts making out with his other friend.
Oh,
who was a girl. It's like random lesbians. For no
like
reason.
so many things they just stumbled into.
I mean, I'm not gonna complain about that one though, to be quite honest.
Of course you're not.
I'm just saying. But go ahead, just finish your point.
Well, no, that's what No Strings Attached. They just kind of stumbled into situations. Friends with Benefits, they at least like were situations that they didn't stumble into. Like it was a conscious decision for the characters, which is always better to go with. If it's a conscious decision in your story, it's better than they stumbled into this because it feels it feels like very lackluster writing
Yeah.
when they just stumble into stuff.
Yeah,
That's my
definitely.
opinion. Are we doing final thoughts? Did
We can
start
do
that?
some final thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, again, for me, it's kind of a toss-up. But, I don't know, I just sort of liked... They were both extremely awkward, but I think that kind of worked when Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher's situation. Like, they had that really weird, awkward chemistry, which I think was fine. Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake kind of had some chemistry, but I don't think it is as much. I kind of feel like it was two people who were thrown together who were told, you know, be funny and be like attracted to each other, and that was sort of like just it. Like there wasn't really too much I don't see the director of that movie really sitting down with either of them and saying this is what your motivation is for this scene to get all of this done. So it's kind of a toss up. I'm just gonna go with No Strings Attached as my toss up pick for this one.
I'm still gonna stick with Friends with Benefits. And
he didn't convert you.
Nope, didn't convert me.
Spite is powerful.
It wasn't out of spite. It wasn't out of spite because I really thought about it and I was like, whatever. It basically one. Yes, it made me chuckle. It made me, it made me entertain with Friends with Benefits in certain parts.
Right.
But also I like, because again we're visual guys. We do a lot of stuff with camera work and stuff like that. The camera work and composition of scenes, I felt like were better. Right. Especially that beginning. That was just a really good opening.
I really loved
really great opening for Friends with Benefits.
Yeah.
It kind of falls off a little bit after that.
Yeah, it does.
Because they also do the shot and then reverse shot a lot, which I had mentioned while we were watching.
And we kind of got bored with that a little bit.
Yeah, because it was like they had this great camera work and then they just kind of, we got the shot. Now we got this shot. Let's keep going.
Right.
But I did like it a little bit more than No Strings Attached. So that's my decision on that one. So what about you?
I'm sticking with Friends with Benefits just because you get to see Emma Stone. You get to see what's the other chick's name?
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis.
You just got her name.
I just look at her eyes, to be quite honest. I just look at her eyes. Her eyes are beautiful. Her eyes are beautiful, whatever. But
he did mention that while we were watching the movie.
To be fair, that's the least creepy thing you could have said I was staring at the whole time.
That's true.
That's always true. If any girl ever asks you what you were staring at, you always say the eyes. Because if you say anything else, it's going to go bad.
It's going to go really, really south. But no, I like Friends with Benefits a little bit better. Like you said, I love the opening scene, the editing. I'm an editing type of guy. Like I love to edit. I love the art of editing itself. And for me, that did a lot. You know what I mean? That did a whole lot. But I will say, I feel like Friends with Benefits would have been better if they would have took Ashton Kutcher and put him in.
Replace Justin Timberlake.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it would have been 100% better.
I don't know. No, he's a good comedic actor.
Yeah. And like you said, Justin and the lady, both had great chemistry, but Ashton Kutcher and her would have also had great chemistry too because they did do the 70s show. So for me, Friends with Benefits, that's why No Strings Attached just didn't do too much for me. But I did laugh at it though. This
was the video where we had the least amount of shouting at each other.
Yeah, that's actually very true. I felt like I said no a lot less in this video.
Mark, shut up. There, we hit our quota.
Just had to throw it in there.
Yeah.
So rude. It's cool.
Anyway, thank you for watching. What do you think? Were we right about this? Were we wrong about this? Yeah. Do you have any suggestions on which movies we should do next? Please let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am Zach.
I'm Kennon.
And I'm Mark.
And we will see you soon.
All right. Have a good one.